Making your own XLR cables can be a great and simple DIY project to get yourself started building your own gear. In addition to saving a lot of money, the cables you build can be higher quality than their store-bought counterparts. Also, you'll have the skills to repair a cable if it breaks. It's kind of like a superpower. For this project, I'll be using standard microphone cable, which has 2 conductors and a ground, and male and female 3-pin XLR connectors. There are links to where you can get these things in the description. The tools I'll be using for this project are soldering iron, solder, an X-Acto knife, wire cutters, wire strippers, and something to hold the cable still while soldering. I'm using tape, but you could use helping hands or something like that. First thing to do is to take your cable and cut it down to the length you'd like. You could make yours a 5 or even a 50-foot cable. Whatever length you need, you do you. After we've done that, let's take a look at one of our connectors. Looks like I have the female one here. Your connector might look a little different, but for mine, there's the metal housing, the insert, the chuck. But the part we need right now is this sort of plastic or rubber thing called the boot. And we're going to take that and we're going to slide it onto one of the ends of our cable like this. It's important not to forget this step. I do it all the time, and again, your connectors might be different, so just keep in mind what parts need to go on before soldering. Otherwise, you'll have to remove the connector and start all over. Now we're ready to prep this end of the cable. So we are going to cut away about 1 inch of the outside layer using the X-Acto knife. We have to be careful not to cut through the wires inside the cable, so we'll make a shallow cut around the outside, and then pull off the outer casing. All these copper wires are our ground. We'll need to gather them up and twist them together into one lead so we can solder them. After we do that, we see we have 2 wires. There are signal wires. Now we'll need to strip our signal wires so we have something to solder to. And now we are going to tin the ends of each wire. Let's start with the ground. Tinning just means adding solder to the ends of the wire, and it really improves the solder joints we'll be making. We're going to heat up the end of the wire and apply solder until it's coated. And if you need a refresher on how to solder, you can check this video out. Now let's prep the connector. This piece, called the insert, is what the wires get soldered to. But before we do that, we are going to tin the terminals of the insert. I'm going to use a piece of tape to keep the insert from rolling away. And now we're ready to attach the cable to the insert. Let's start with the ground. This is always attached to terminal 1 of your connector. The terminals should be numbered somewhere on the insert. Here they are on mine. It turns out that my wires were a little too long before. This is a better length. To solder the other wires, it doesn't matter which signal wire goes to which terminal, but they have to be the same on both ends of the cable. For example, if we solder the red signal wire to terminal 3 on this end, we should solder the red signal wire to terminal 3 on the other. Now we can put the chuck over the wire and slide it up to the insert. With these connectors, we put the metal housing over the front of the insert, and finally we slide the boot up the cable and screw it into the metal housing. Now just repeat this process on the other end of the cable. Make sure to put the boot on first. Once you've done the other end, you'll have your very own XLR cable, and you made it all by yourself. Thanks for watching this tutorial. Catch you next time.